Welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. There is a KC Cup going on right now, and if you're a smart person and only care about the daily gems, you're going to want to pick a deck that wins as quickly as possible, that can also OTK through multiple disruptions, and the deck you're looking at right now is probably the cheapest deck that does this. Let's have a look at SALAMANGREAT. Salads have been playable ever since release, and is one of those decks that just won't die no matter how many times you get hit by the ban list. These Fire Cybers monsters focus on spamming tons of link material, and link summon the same monster twice using itself as material. The insane amount of extenders lets this deck play through just about anything, while Foul and Helio eats up back row for breakfast. Let's have a look at the cards. We have, of course, the best card in our deck, Salamangreat Gazelle. If a Salad monster gets sent to the graveyard, no matter from the field or hand or deck, you get to special summon this card from your hand, and also if it's normal or special summoned, you can send a Salad card from your deck to your graveyard. Usually you will be sending one of your monsters that could summon itself from the graveyard. Next is a Lady Debug. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add any level 3 or lower Cybers monster from your deck to your hand, and usually we will be adding Gazelle. Next is Salamangreat Jaguar. This is one of those graveyard extenders. This card has piercing for some reason, and it does come up sometimes because it does have quite a high attack. And also, you could special summon this card from your graveyard by returning one of your Salad monsters from your graveyard back to the deck. Next is 3 copies of Foxy. This is your other normal summon if you don't have Lady Debug. When this card is normal summoned, you can excavate 3 cards from the top of the deck, and if you find any Salad cards, you can add one of them to your hand. And also, if it's in your graveyard, you could discard one Salamangreat card to special summon this card, and also you can destroy one face-up spell or trap on the field. And also you can only activate this effect if you have a face-up spell or trap, which you will usually have because you have your field spell, which is really searchable. But these 2 effects of Foxy are exclusive, so you can't use both of them in the same turn. Next is Falco. This card can be special summoned from a graveyard by returning one Salad monster from your field back to your hand. And also, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can set a Salad spell or trap from your graveyard. And also, again, these 2 effects are exclusive. Next is Foul. We are playing 3 copies of this card because it's really good as extension and to get rid of your opponent's back row. If a Salad monster is a normal or special summoned, you could special summon this card from your hand. And also, as a non-once per turn effect, you could send a Salad card from your hand or field to your graveyard and target one set spell or trap your opponent controls. That card cannot be activated this turn. So really good against your opponent's set back row and prevents it from being activated. Next is 1 copy of Mirror. If this card is added to your hand, you can special summon this card. If this card is in your hand, you could discard one other Salad card and special summon this card. So you could use both effects in the same turn. So what you usually do is Mirror, discard Falco, special summon itself. Falco effect, bounce back to Mirror. Mirror's second effect will also be able to special summon itself from your hand, even if it's added by the effect of Falco. For the spells and traps, we're playing 1 copy of Silent Mining. This is a really good search spell that helps us to get Gazelle. Next is 2 copies of Crosswipe. This card is main removal. It is a quick play spell that allows us to tribute 1 Cybers monster to target any card on the field and destroy it. Next is 2 copies of Circle. This is our other searcher. It doesn't require us to discard a card, so it's kind of better than Silent Mining. But it's also limited to 3, so you can't play in the free traps. And it has 2 effects. You will only be using the first one to add a Salad monster from your deck to your hand. Next is 1 copy of the field spell. This is a field spell that allows us to link summon using the same monster as material, and it's searchable with our link 1. We're playing 1 copy of Silent Backdoor. This card is also kind of a searcher and also helps dodge your opponent's target effects. If they try to target one of your monsters, you could use Silent Backdoor to banish it and add something like a Gazelle or something like a Mirror to continue to extend on your combos. And finally, we have 1 copy of Warning Point, which is from the same box as all of the other Salad cards. For the extra deck, we're playing 1 Xyz monster, we're playing Dark Rebellion. Usually you're playing Abyss Dweller in this slot, but because it's from a different box with the Salad cards, we're not playing this card. But Rebellion is obtainable through the structure deck, that's why we are going to play Rebellion instead, and also it helps us OTK. Next are the links. We're playing one copy of the Ningyusu. This card is generic. You don't have to play it in World Chalice decks. It just needs 2+ link monsters, and it is one of the best removals the deck has because it sends without targeting. Usually you will be sending your field spell to the graveyard to send one of your opponent's cards to the graveyard. Next is one copy of Heatleo. We also get a second copy of this card from our skill, that's why we can only play one. And it recalls 2 fire effect monsters. When it's link summoned, you can shuffle back 1 card from your opponent's spell and trap zone back to the deck. And it does say it's from the spell and trap zone, so it cannot shuffle field spells, which comes up. And also it has a second effect that allows you to, once per turn during your main phase, if it's link summoned using itself as material, you could target one face-up monster on the field and one monster in your graveyard, and the attack of the monster on the field becomes the attack of the monster in the graveyard. It is good both to make your opponent's attack lower or to boost your own monster's attack depending on the situation. Next is Update Jammer. This card is used to help us OTK easy, and it has a first effect that doesn't really matter, but the second effect allows us to, if it's used as a link material, that monster can attack twice in the battle phase. Next is one copy of Sunlight Wolf. Again, we get another copy with the skill, so we don't have to play 2. If a monster is normal special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can add back a salad monster from a graveyard back to your hand, and also it cannot be used to normal summon or a special summon during the turn you use this effect. During your main phase, if it's link summon using itself as material, you can add back a salad, spell, or trap from your graveyard to your hand. And usually you will be adding Roar before it is limited, but now because it is, we will be usually adding back a circle for next turn. Next is 2 copies of Bale Links. This is our link 1. When it's link summoned, you add the field spell from your deck to your hand, and also it has a destruction protection by banishing itself from the graveyard. And finally, we have a Flame Administrator. This is usually a must-include back in the day when salads don't have their exclusive skill, because this lets your monsters gain a lot of attack, and because your monsters don't actually have a lot of attack, this is really useful to beat over your opponent's stuff. But now, because we have one exclusive skill that already adds attack, you don't really need this card as much, but it's always nice to have this as one of your options to go into. And because Blue Eyes are kind of meta right now, by using Flame Administrator, you can boost your Heatleo's attack to over 3k, which is useful to beat over Blue Eyes, or you can just use Heatleo's effect to lower Blue Eyes' attack. That will also work. For the skill, we're playing a Burning Aura. This is one of the good salad skills that we have. It allows us to add Heatleo and Sunlight Wolf to our extra deck, so we don't have to play 2 copies of those. And also, once per turn, it's basically the Tie Dead Binds, if you know what the skill does. And this skill can only be used if you are playing enough salad monsters, including 1 salad Leo, which we are. So yeah. Here is the expensive version of the deck. We are playing 3 copies of Dark Hole because Bale Links does protect yourself from being destroyed, so you could use Dark Hole and only destroy your opponent's stuff. And also Dark Hole is just generally useful if you're going second, because this deck is really good at going second to break through your opponent's board, and Dark Hole will help with that. And for the main deck, it's pretty much the same, except we're playing more copies of Circle because this is better, and more copies of Cyanide Mining, so the deck becomes more consistent. And for the extra deck, we're playing Abyss Dweller that I talked about, and this is really good to make turn 1. This deck does have a really easy way to put 2 level 4 monsters on the field, and you can oftentimes make it 1 rank 4 in your first turn, and Abyss Dweller is probably the best one you could make. And for the other cards, we're also playing 1 Rasaliger for OTKing, and 1 Security Dragon to bounce whatever your opponent has back to the hand. And you could play Update Jammer in the slot of Security Dragon, and if you link Rasaliger using your Update Jammer, that is a really powerful OTK method, but I just like Security Dragon more. So yeah, and we're using the same skill, so let's have a look at the replays. Okay, in our first game we are going second. This deck does prefer going second, but it's also not too bad if it goes first. You could make this deck better going first by including more back row, but I like to go second. I'd like to build my deck around going second because it's better in the KC Cup to save time. Anyway, our opponent is going to set free and pass, and I did say that this deck eats back row for breakfast, and let's see how well this deck could do against our opponent's free set cards. We're going to basically put a whole bunch of monsters on field, including one foul. We won't use Foul's effect now because we don't really have good cards for Foul to send, so instead we're going to try to make a couple of Heat Leos to shuffle back our opponent's back row. We're going to just extend and extend, and we're going to make into a Sunlight Wolf to allow us to grab back a card when we summon back a Jack Jaguar into its zone. And then we're going to start eating our opponent's back row. We're first going to make our first Heat Leo, shuffling back one of our opponent's set back row. We're going to activate the field spell. He's going to try to MST, but we have Balings in the graveyard, so we could protect it from being destroyed. We're going to make our second Heat Leo using itself as a material. And fun fact, you only get the animation of Heat Leo when you summon it using itself as material. I don't know why, but it's just how it is. We're going to Heat Leo, shuffling back the other back row that he still has. We're gonna boost its attack using Heat Leo, and we're gonna activate our skill and go in for a well over lethal. Okay, in our second game we're playing against Toons, and this is where the field spell comes up, because in this game I forget that Heat Leo doesn't shuffle back field spells, and that does come back to bite me, but let's see what we can do with that. Our opponent is going to activate Toon Kingdom, and then set to back row. He's going to bookmark to grab. He's going to do table of contents to grab bookmark, and bookmark grabbing Toon BLS. He's going to pass turn, and let's see what we can do from this position. We're going to circle grab ourselves a Foxy effect, and a Chain Foul to summon itself as well. We're going to summon the Foul and reveal 3 cards, and we do find a Salad. And because the circle is hard once per turn, we'll not grab a second circle. Instead, we're going to grab a Falco and use our Foul's effect to send it to the graveyard to lock our opponent's back row. Our opponent will chain Toon Page Flip, which summons a monster. That's annoying. But we can still summon Gazelle because we sent a monster to the graveyard, and then we'll use Gazelle's effect to send Jack Jaguar. And then now we will lock our opponent's back row and make Balings. Balings grab ourselves the field spell, and then we're gonna Falco to add back the Foul back to the hand for next turn. We're gonna make a Sunlight Wolf, and then use the effect of a Jack Jaguar to summon itself by shuffling back one Foxy from our graveyard back to the deck. And then Sunlight Wolf effect will grab us back the Gazelle for next turn. And then now we make Heat Leo, and now it's a time that I realize that I can't actually shuffle back the field spell, so instead we're going to shuffle back the set card and pass turn, because our opponent has Toon Kingdom, which means we can't target his monsters with effects. He's going to BLS, we have warning point for that, which doesn't target, which gets around Toon Kingdom, and our opponent would try to destroy our Heat Leo, but that's fine, we have a Balings to the graveyard. During our own turn, we're going to make our second copy of Heat Leo, using the first Heat Leo as material, and then shuffle back our opponent's back row, and also summon Gazelle from our hand. And now that we know we can't shuffle back our opponent's field spell, we still have an out to discard. We have Ningusu, which sends without targeting, which gets around Toon Bookmark, or we can just pop it twice. And we will be doing the latter. So we'll first summon back the Falco, and then use Foxy's effect to pop a face-up spell or trap. He uses Toon Bookmark, that's fine. We have a Crosswipe as our second pop, and this time we will be able to pop our opponent's field spell, and now we'll just go for a million bajillion damage. First we'll make Dark Rebellion to gain a whole bunch of attack. We'll Jack Jaguar to summon itself back, use Heat Leo's effect to lower our opponent's second monster's attack, and then use a really big Burning Roar boost, and our opponent will be scooping. Okay, let's have a look at the expensive version of the deck. This time our opponent is playing Dark Magicians, and he has a skill that guarantees him to always open with one Dark Magician. He is going to set 2 and pass, probably a brick, I don't know. And we opened pretty well, so we need to open with a Circle to add a Salad from our deck to your hand. We're going to summon Foxy, Chain Foul, Foul summon itself, Foxy, and let's see what we add from the deck. we open with just a circle, which is not very good because we can't activate it this turn. But I guess that's better than nothing. Our opponent will book a foul when we try to lock his back row, but that's okay. We're going to do the Gazelle effect, and he will be summoning his Magician of Dark Illusion, which is the card that he got from the skill. We're going to Gazelle Mill Jack Jaguar, Falcor add back the Gazelle to summon itself, make the link 1. The link 1 will add us the field spell, and then we're going to link 2 into Sunlight Wolf, and then we're going to activate Silent Mining, pitching the circle that we can't use to add a mirror. Mirror effect will summon itself when it's added to the hand, and then Sunlight Wolf will trigger to add a Foxy as a discard fodder. And then we're going to make a Heatleo to spin back our opponent's back row. And we're going to activate our field spell and use its effect to link summon again, so that Heatleo gains the attack modulating effect. But it only modulates attack, which is annoying because our opponent's monster is in defense. We could actually, in this position, make Rastalliger and pop our opponent's monster to good for lethal, but I forget that we could do that, but that's fine because our opponent will be scooping. A good game.